Well, day one of seeding. Haven't even started yet. Had a problem show up. But luckily this is only on my truck, and luckily it's a fairly simple fix. That U-joint started to vibrate, and as you can see, not good. So let's change her out. What do we got going on here? We got some peas going in. Go down a bit. Now, we got some Boss blend going in. So that was peas treated with starter. It's just a liquid fertilizer. And it's actually clear, but they put pink in it so we can see. That's a Boss potash blend by the look of it. Probably a little bit of others, but I think we put about 3 bushel of peas down per acre, about 60 pounds of this, 60 to 65. And then for inoculant, it's like 3.3 pounds per acre, a 40-pound bag. You're supposed to do like 12 acres, I think. We're having some issues. Seem to be able to have our meters turning, but can't calibrate. Shanks needs to go ahead. So I'm wondering if it had something to do with that shank pressure being low. All the meters are turning. Well, we got number 2 shut off. Number 1's turning for sure. Really slow. Okay, so we are on, depending on how you want to look at it, day 3 of day 1 of seeding, or the 3rd attempt of day 1 of seeding. So on Friday we went to fill the seeder. It was pretty cold out, so we fired everything up. I turned on the fans for a while to let all the hydraulics warm up. And all of a sudden you look down, it's like, oh, that's a pretty significant hydraulic leak. So we took off some covers and a couple old hoses that fed the fan, you know, kind of a couple spots where they have some hard turn to them, and they started leaking. So we just decided to rip all 4 out because they were probably original, so they're on that toolbar, they'd be what, 12 years old. So we did that. That was a harder job than expected, but it's done. And we were able to take about 15 feet of extra curves out of it. So that should boost a little bit of, give us a little more hydraulic power there. Not much, just better. So we got all that done. And yesterday we went to try and start. We were having issues with calibration. We couldn't get our meters to turn for calibration, so we went off of last year's numbers and we're ballparking it, which I don't like doing, but we know the numbers are close. And then we put a known amount in, so we were gonna say, okay, well, we should get, 30 acres of this or 40 acres of that. Yeah, okay. And then we did a test run. We just did like 3 or 4 acres up the headland. We got out, everything seemed to be running right. And we just started checking for seed. And the middle runs had almost no seed in them. And so we were checking rollers, we were checking for, we don't have blockage meters, but we didn't have any blockages. So we really started scratching around, and it seemed like the outside, most parts of the wings were fine. So section 1 and 8 seemed fine. Section 2 and 7 also seemed pretty good. Sections 3 and 6 seemed like they were running a little bit rich, not bad, but sections 4 and 5, which are the middle ones, were almost nothing. So we did some troubleshooting and checking for blockages and checking our meters out, and they're metering out evenly. And then we kind of eliminated a lot of things, and well, we think that the bit of hose that we took out, we changed the orientation of some runs, and we were able to eliminate about 10 or 12 feet of hose on the middle runs. We're thinking that allowed it to have too much pressure, and like it was fine when the drill was out of the ground, it would meter out fine, but when everything was engaged, it was no good. So we're thinking that caused too much back pressure, like too much flow there, and then when it's in the ground, it was causing back pressure, and that was causing the meters to blow a bit sideways from the outside in. So we're gonna test that now. Hopefully third time's a charm. It's been a rough start.
The grain's supposed to go from the seeder to the ground, not to the grain truck.
Farming can be very humbling. After essentially a lost day, troubleshooting, changing things, thinking things through, scratching our heads, we had to unload all the peas. We don't like doing that. It's very slow. It's hard on the peas. They crack and they don't grow right. And I climbed in the tank. We were thinking we had some obstruction. No. As I'm climbing out of the tank, this is our big tank, and it's got 2 manholes in it, and they need to latch real tight because the tank gets pressurized to help it feed better. One of the first things Dad says is, oh, if they ever don't feed right, you need to make sure that the hatches are latched properly. He went up and checked right off the bat, but they were unlatched in a way where it wasn't very obvious. So as I'm climbing out of the tank, I can see the other manhole, and I can see light under it. Both of us just look at each other like, that sucks. So, he went and checked. I trust him. I was up there last night picking off a bag of inoculant. I didn't even notice it. He was up there this morning. He went into the inoculant tank to make sure everything was loose. He didn't notice it.